It's on. All right, so I'm going to do a talk on how to crush a push. And to me, crushing a push is 6 steps, right? The first is, and I'm going to break them down. I'm going to lay them out, then I'm going to break them down. So the first is making a commitment. The second is sharing your goals. The third is finding ways to create throughout the push. The fourth is setting up callbacks. The fifth is taking notes on every demo. And then the last one is just finishing strong. So in terms of committing, it's so important that you find a goal, right? So you find a not only a sales goal, but a demo goal that you are actually tied into, right? That you are committed to, that you're going to go after, so that you know exactly what you want out of that push period, right? So finding that goal, which should be, it should be a sales and also a demo goal that correlates with it, right? We sent out yesterday the SEC page on njlegacyrep.com. It's on the home screen. Lily made it. There's a slide on there that has demo goal and sales goal, right? And then you should know your reason, right? So I always say your goal is the destination, and you should know the reason that you want to get there, right? That's your fuel that keeps you going, right? And then create your plan, which means break down the numbers, create a schedule for yourself. And there is a saying that I heard someone say, I think my first or second year as a manager, that I took with me. And this saying is plan the hunt and hunt the plan, right? And I never heard that before. Apparently it's like a hunting term, right? Where before you go hunting in the woods, you need to plan the route that you're going to go. And then you need to stay on that course, because if something happens to you, right, you're out in the middle of the woods, they need to be able to find where you are, right? So it's the same thing for this, right? It's creating that plan for yourself beforehand. And when you say you're going to do something, do it, right? Design the life that will bring you the results that you want, and then live the life that you designed. I actually really loved what David said yesterday. He said that your schedule should be flexible week to week, but it should never be flexible day to day, right? Like waking up and deciding if you're going to work. You should be able to say to yourself, okay, what do I want to do this week? And then think logically, create that schedule and live that schedule, instead of letting your emotions dictate what you're doing and changing things on a day-to-day basis, right? So it's committing, it's creating a plan, it's creating goals, it's knowing your purpose. And then it's planning the hunt and hunting the plan. The second thing is sharing those goals, right? It's sharing those goals with family, with friends, right? So like letting people know what you're working towards. So this is something that Rob was so good at during push periods. So my friend Rob, who told me about the job, had multiple $30,000 pushes, when like a $30,000 push was like huge, and which is, it's not like small now. But there's someone who in the company, his name is Brendan Brown, who had $100,000 push in 2 weeks. He sold 100,000, so like, which is like stupid. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I can't, like, when I heard that, I tried to wrap my mind around that, and I was like, I can't even, like, imagine entering in 14 days $100,000 of orders. Like, I can't even, like, that's like that's like literally like 300 orders in 14 days. That's like 20 something orders a day for 14 days straight. That's like insane, right? But when Rob did it, it was like, he's a college kid who was going around and doing the demos and all that stuff. So one thing he always did for a push period was he picked a goal, and obviously there's always prizes that you can win, right? So like one of the top prizes is always like, you get like a $500 gift card or a TV or an iPad. So he would always find a person outside of Vector, like one of his friends, and he would say, if I hit my goal, I'll give you that prize. And he said, but the condition is you're my accountability buddy, right? So I need to be up for morning phone jams, which means you need to make sure I'm up. And you need to make sure, like, at the end of the phone jams, you need to like make sure, like, you need to hold me accountable for the 14 days. And his mindset was, if I sell 30 grand, I'll give them the $400 TV. They hold me accountable to my goals when I don't necessarily feel like working, and can help me. A lot of the times they would give him a few leads and stuff. And then I sold 30 grand. So I made $15,000. Of course, that's a great investment. But I tied someone else into my goals. So like he always said his best accountability buddy was his brother Rick, who would like literally like pick him up out of bed and like put him at his desk and stuff. But if people that you're friends with know, hey, this is what to expect. This is why you should expect it. These are my goals. This is what I'm going after. This is why I'm doing it. They're going to be so much more supportive of you, right? The times that a lot of people outside of the business sometimes get negative about people working hard is because they don't know what they're working for. They don't know what they're doing, right? So like if you lay the things out for them to expect, then they expect it and they're going to be supportive of it. They know why you're doing it. And the reality is everyone here has a few people that they did demos for when they first started that you sucked, right? When you first start, you suck. And there's a couple of people that could have given you really powerful leads that you got 2 from because they're like, I gave you 2. Is that good? And you were like, yeah, which is like the worst thing you could ever say, right? And it happens all the time. When I was the new rep, I didn't realize that I could say, oh, could we do 10? And they would have just done 10, right? But if you went back to those people and you said, hey, these are the things I've accomplished so far with Vector. These are the things I'm currently working towards. I'm really excited about going after this goal. I was just wondering, is there any way that you might be able to think of any other people that I can potentially just present to? Obviously I'm way more experienced now, and that's one of the things that would really set me up to hit my goal, right? And you should share your goals with people that matter to you so that they know what you're working towards and could support you. You should share it on every call. You should share it on every demo. Shit, you could go on Facebook or Instagram and share your goals. The more people know about your goals, 1, the more accountable you are to them. 2, the more that people are going to support you. And the 3 is like the more you see it, the more it becomes real, right? I don't know if anyone has any goals or like things that you're working towards. Where Rob, actually, one of the things he always used to do would be like, he would actually take a dry erase marker and write his goals on his bathroom mirror. And so that like when he woke up, that was the first thing he saw, right? So share your goals. The next thing is finding ways to create. And this is really like where so many people, they lack commitment, in my opinion. So like there's a quote that Gerbert always says that I love. And the quote is, success demands more than most people are willing to give, but not more than most people are capable of giving, right? Success demands more than most people are willing to give, but not more than most people are capable of giving. Almost everyone is capable of being successful, right? At pretty much anything that we set our minds to, if we do the things that we should be doing to create that success, right? So the only reason people fall short of their goals is because they didn't find ways to make it happen. They weren't committed to their commitments. So there's the sticky note approach. There's, if you really wanted to, like, don't go to a different neighborhood, but walk down your street and knock on a couple doors. Like, don't bring knives with you, but have your planner with you, right? Like, and just knock on a few doors in your neighborhood where you've lived and book some demos, right? You could ask past customers for more leads or to help you get in touch with people that you haven't, right? You could text people who asked to reschedule, but you haven't been able to get back in your schedule and get them back on. Right? We learned about leapfrogging yesterday. You can make calls in between demos. You could sit down with family and friends and ask them for more referrals or to help you book demos, right? Like if you sat down with your parents or aunts or whatever, and you had a list of people that you never got in touch with, they could call them from their phone and hand the phone over to you, and you could get in touch with those people. You could expand your names list and reach out to people that you might not have had the courage to call. You get on social media and reach out to people to get parents' numbers. But if you're creative and determined, you'll find ways to get to your goals, right? So instead of finding excuses, find ways to make it happen. The next one is setting up callbacks. And this one is so simple. And the way that it works is you just say to each of your customers, if I'm close to my goal, at the end of the contest, would you mind if I just reached out and saw if there was anything else that you might want to get? And that's just the last thing you send the demo, right? Hey, by the way, like if I'm close to my goal at the end of the contest in a couple of weeks, would you mind if I just reached out to you and saw if there was anything else you might want to get, right? And almost everyone's going to say yes, right? But understand that this. So one thing that, like, there's so many different things that we can do. So for example, we could actually get veggie peelers for $5 a veggie peeler. So it's $5.50, and it's the only thing that managers have that type of discount on. So basically, at the end of the push, if you really wanted to, you basically, if they bought almost anything, you could throw in a free veggie peeler. So if you think about it, let's say they got a cheese knife at the end of the push, which is 63 CPO, which means that at 30%, you make $19 on it, and you bought a veggie peeler for $5 and shipped it to them. That would probably be like $10 because of the shipping, right? That means that you would earn about $9. But if you did that over and over again, you could literally close on so many different sales. And obviously, there are also going to be bigger ones at the end of the push. You know, last year during SC1, Charisma sold like 9K for the push. 6K of it was the last day because she did like a discounted signature, a discounted galley, a flatware chest, like all of that stuff, right? And so you get a couple sets in there, that type of stuff, and all of a sudden you sell thousands of dollars at the end of the push, let alone the work that you put in beforehand. The next thing is taking notes, right? It's taking notes on every demo, right? Using the spreadsheet or a notebook. I suggest the spreadsheet, right? And if you haven't listened to it yet, you should listen to the audio on NJ Legacy Rep under Learn for taking notes on your customers. But you should take notes on every one of your demos so that you know what people were interested in that they didn't get, right? And who, gave you permission to call them back at the end of the push, because that makes it so much easier when you get to the end of the push period for you to call them back and say, hey, I know you were thinking about this, but you didn't get it. You know, I'm super close to my goal. And obviously there's no pressure, but I talked to my manager, I got you this sick deal. It would just be blank. How does that sound? Right. And when you know what that person wanted and you remember that in your conversations, it makes it way more powerful when you go to offer the deal. Right. And then the last thing is just finish. It just don't stop until you hit your goals. Right. Send out an email towards the end of the push. We're going to give everyone emails that you can send out to all your past customers. Post a Facebook status about finishing strong and asking friends and family to share it. Plan out an afternoon or an evening towards the end for beforehand, just for callbacks, and just call everyone back and offer them a deal, because you literally never know. We had a day where everyone it was just the team committed to it for SC2 like 3 years ago. And we had a morning where by noon, as a team, we had a $40,000 day because everyone on the team just did callbacks and everyone set it up the right way. And Victoria sold like $5,000 that morning. V sold like $5,000. It was just like other Victoria, sorry, Vic. She's like, I did sell $5,000. She's like, I forgot about that. But it's just finish strong. Just do everything that you were supposed to do, that you can do for your goals, and you will execute. So I'll go through these steps one last time. It's make a commitment, share your goals, find ways to create throughout, set up callbacks, take notes on every demo, and then just finish. So I have a document that I'm going to share on this. I'm going to post this recording a little bit later, but let's crush this phone jam.